Hello, the Pioneer viewers. We continue to bring you the details of the Russian-Ukrainian War and the details of the war. As you know, the war continues and there are hot developments on the front line. Although the main area where the war is taking place is the front, there is also a big war behind the front line. While the war behind the front line is fought between minds, the war on the front is built on power. The balances and international policies are also shaped by the power. The Allied support needed in the times of the war is entirely a consequence of the position in international politics. The factors required for states to access the resources they need to increase their fighting capacity and military power are certain. The capacity that a state can produce on its own is certainly not comparable to the production capacity of many states. This is why states are the less affected by the burdens of the war when there are alliances. In the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the international political agenda has focused on war. The ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine is vital for Europe in many ways. Russia does not have many international supporters due to its closed nature and authoritarian rule. Subjected to the sanctions and embargoes by the US and European countries, Russia is making moves to organize its future. Although it has made moves to improve its relations with Iran and China, it has not achieved the desired results. Ukraine, on the other hand, continues to strengthen its close relations with the US and the European countries. The support packages provided by the Ukraine meet the needs of the Ukrainian army. The increasing needs of the Ukrainian army will continue with the increase in the capacity and its combat capabilities. According to the news that emerged recently, new support is coming to the Ukrainian army. According to the information announced, both air defense systems and fighter jets are included in the newly announced supports. In addition, the incident in Russia in the past days quickly fell on the agenda. Migrants in Russia suddenly found themselves on the front line to fight. Now, if you are ready, let's examine the news and the agenda together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on the Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. Russian authorities recently rounded up thousands of migrants during New Year's Eve events. The migrants were detained and the most of them were forced to register for war in Ukraine after examinations. Around 3,000 migrants were detained by the Russian authorities. Following the start of Russian President Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine in February 2022, Russia has passed numerous laws encouraging migrants with a Russian passport to serve in the military. One of the most notable examples of such laws was a decree signed by the Putin in March that eases the path to citizenship for the foreign nationals if they sign a one-year contract for military service during the war in Ukraine. Migrants' checks are carried out periodically in Russia. Migrants caught during the checks are used for military service during the war, but Moscow's approach is considered illegal. Forcibly sending migrants to the front line is a major political crisis. It is an indication that the Russian army is in serious need of personnel. According to local sources, the migrants caught during the checks came from the neighboring countries such as Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Armenia. Some of the migrants who came to Russia mainly from Central Asian countries in the search of work were summoned on the spot, while others were forcibly taken to the military registration offices. The Kremlin's methods of dealing with the crisis are controversial. The requirements of migrants in Russia has also caused new controversy. In the previous days, criminals from the prisons were recruited into the Russian army. Experts say that the Russian army is becoming more and more complex and think that the reason for the lack of discipline in the army is the complex structure. The Russian public's reactions to the war also has a negative impact on the potential of soldiers. The strategy developed by the Ukrainian army seems to have worked on the Russian troops. Ukrainian counterattack against Russian targets and supply points of the Russian troops have brought significant gains to Kiev. It is observed that the Ukrainian army has established a strong resistance against the Russian troops thanks to its strategy during the war and its ever-increasing capacity. The successes of the Ukrainian army in the air operations was observed by everyone. The Ukrainian army, which has been destroying Russian targets with drones operations since the first days of the war, maintains the strength. The Ukrainian army is expected to increase its success in the air operations with unmanned aerial vehicles. The Ukrainian army is planned to gain a serious air power thanks to the F16 program provided by Europe. For this reason, the F16 program is very important for Ukraine. In the news that emerged in the past days, it was reported that there have been new developments regarding Ukraine's F16 program. Ukraine's eagerly awaited F16 fighter jet program is one step closer to flight. Norwegian Defense Minister Bjørn Arild Gram announced that the other day that Norway has sent 2 of the US-made jets to help train Ukrainian pilots in Denmark. Norway and its European NATO allies Belgium, the Netherlands, and Denmark have agreed to provide dozens of F-16s to Ukraine. Major General Wolf Folland, chief of the Royal Norwegian Air Force, as well as the Gram, flew on the final test flight before the planes were sent to Denmark's Skydrops airbase. Norway also reportedly sent 10 flight instructors to the bases to help detrain Ukrainian pilots. Norwegian Defense Minister Gram said in the efforts to provide Ukraine with an air force equipped with modern weapons will be large and long-term, but it's important for stability and security across Europe. While the F-16s are no longer state-of-the-art, they represent a significant upgrade for Ukraine, which has largely relied on a fleet of Soviet-era MiG and Sukhoi jets since Russia invaded Ukraine nearly 2 years ago. Russian President Vladimir Putin insisted at the Eastern Economic Forum in September that the upgrade would not improve Ukraine's war footing, saying the supply of the jets prolonged the conflict, but the indicators say the opposite. Norway is reportedly planning to donate 5 to 10 of its F-16s to Ukraine. Last month, Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that a shipment of the 18 jets from the Netherlands would be sent soon. Also, last month, it was announced that the first cohort of the Ukrainian F-16 pilots had completed a basic training program in the United Kingdom and moved to training with the jets in Denmark. After completing their training, Ukrainian military pilots aim to make a significant contribution on the front line. In the interviews with the pilots, it was stated that the training continues with great seriousness and future pilot programs are being planned. What do you think about the forced conscription of migrants in Russia? What do you think the complex structure of the Russian army might indicate? What do you think about the pilot program of the Ukrainian army? Do you think the support of the US and Europe is enough for Ukraine? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.